everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a solo playthrough of SpellBook, and disclaimer, I received a review copy of this one. And at the end of the video, I'll have a quick review of my thoughts on the game, both competitive and solo. And if you enjoy the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast, or join the conversation on our Discord. So SpellBook is a family-friendly, pretty straightforward little Euro. You've got this big bag of tokens called materia, and you're going to be either drawing them from the bag or taking them from this altar. You get them slower from the altar, but you know exactly what you're getting. And how you do that is you get a morning action every round. Your starting one is to either take one from the altar or two from the bag. Then you get a midday action. The basic one is to put one of your materia on your familiar board over here. As you cover up spaces, you're earning more and more victory points via shield numbers. And then for your basic evening action, because you're doing morning, afternoon, evening, or midday, sorry. If you have 3 of the same color or more, you can learn the matching spell. So to learn this red eruption spell, I would need at least 3 red materia. And you mark the level of spell you've learned with one of the tokens. And the key thing is you can only learn a level once. So like if I learn level 4 of Eruption, I can't learn level 3 or 5. But they become more powerful versions. Learning spells gives you victory points, just like you're familiar. But also they'll usually unlock alternate actions for your morning, your midday, and your evening. So you can do more powerful versions of the stuff we already talked about. And the game ends when you've learned all 7 spells or when you've fully filled your familiar board. And how solo works, it's very straightforward. You're just at the end of every one of your turns taking one tile from the altar and putting it on here, going from left to right, top to bottom. And that's the score you got to beat. So the faster you go, the easier you're going to have it. Oh, and a quick note, generally you're filling the altar to 5 tokens, and then they can build up in the competitive game. In the solo game, because you're always taking one for the bot, well, not really a bot, the timer that you're fighting against, you'll always just fill it back up to 7 at the end of each round. But let's jump in. It's a pretty straightforward game. So I have my first morning action. I can take one from the altar or draw 2. Clearly drawing 2 is going to be better at this point. And I get a green and a white. And now for my midday action, I could take one of those and put it on my familiar board, which is usually a good idea because it's just straight up victory points. But also, I don't know like what I might be getting doubles of. Like if I put my white on there and then drew 2 whites next turn, that would be a bummer. I might also want to look at the spells. So the green spell is an alternate midday action. Instead of placing things on my familiar to get victory points, it would let me draw a certain number of tokens from the bag and then discard that many tokens. So it doesn't give me more tokens, it just lets me try to kind of hunt for better color combos. But that's at the cost of not getting victory points, even though it is worth a fair number itself. So yeah, you know what? Forget you, green. We're going to do a midday action and put that on my familiar. And then evening action, I clearly can't afford to get a spell yet. I would need at least 3 of a kind. Although there is a little wrinkle to learning spells. You'll see that there's a little like triangular rune on this one. And then there's also a circular rune and kind of a squarish rune. And when you have 3 of a kind of those runes, regardless of color, you can discard those 3 tokens that count as 1 of any color. So if I had 2 white materia and then 3 of any color with circle runes on them, I could use those to learn the level 3 version, the weakest version of the white spell. Okay, now it's the end of my turn. I'm usually not going to show this because it's not very interesting, and it's easier to keep everything else on camera. But I have to pick one of the tokens from the vault over here and put it on the leftmost, topmost space here. Well, I guess I just got rid of green, so let's just keep on going on the green train. And then I refill the altar to have 7 tokens. Hey, another green. Maybe I should have actually gone for green. Oh well. And that's what a round looks like. So we'll just kind of speed through. And hey, okay, we got another white. White's worth 4, 6, or 8. And it gives you an alternate evening action, but one you can't use very often. If you use it at the level 5, you got 5 whites to get it. It lets you replace any number of materia on the altar, then take 3 from the altar, and then decrease the spell by 1 level. So it's kind of running itself out. You can do a similar sort of thing at level 4, and at level 3 it's just worth 4 victory points. So honestly, it's pretty cool, but it has obviously sort of limited shelf life, so I think I might just get it at the level 4 if I can. But I've drawn my 2. Let's put the one that is not matching on my dragon. Can't do an evening action. And we'll just keep ignoring green and giving it to the enemy over there. All right, here we go again. By the way, I could have, just to remind you for my basic morning action, taken one from the altar. Like if there was a white there, that might make sense. Black and purple. So black gives me... Oh, this is a faster storing is what it's called when you put runes, materia on your familiar. And taking means taking from the altar. So that's a pretty cool action. Purple lets you take a bunch of materia from the altar, but it also lets another player draw one. And in the solo mode, that means the opponent gets a materia on the bottom of their board, which is just a straight up victory point. So I'm not too interested in purple. Let's keep the black, though. That's pretty cool. And again, no evening action for me. And yeah, there are a lot of black to draw from. So let's give a purple to the opponent. Definitely need to speed up here. Oh, okay. So here now I have a question. Do I go for the white that just came out? Or do I take my chances that I might draw a white or a couple blacks and get more materia overall, which would let me build up my familiar faster? Well, you can hold up to 9 materia, and since the basic level of white doesn't actually improve my engine at all, it's not an action I can use, I think I'll just go for the double draw, because, yeah, I can wait on the white. Alright, got a blue and a purple. Blue is a one-time one, and let's see. When I do it, it lets me resolve another morning action, so I can get more tokens to replace what I just spent, plus the victory points. Or wow, if I get level 5 blue for the rest of the game, I get an additional morning action every round? That's ridiculous. So yeah, with that in mind, let's certainly familiar up my purple and then give them a yellow, I guess, because now I'm kind of into all these other colors. Well, red we haven't talked about, but it lets you draw up to a bunch of materia if you manage to clear out your pile as a morning action. Not too bad. Okay, I think I'm going to draw 2 again. Ooh, nice. All right, so let's put the yellow up here as my midday action. And then, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and learn it. I could wait longer and get the bonus, but, well, maybe I should. Because waiting to get even one more white is going to, if I use the power, give me a bunch of extra replacement tokens of my choice, which would get me a ton of blue. Yeah, you know what? Okay, let's not learn the white yet and go for at least level 4, if not 5. And then I guess I'll get rid of the red, even though it looks pretty cool. And let's check in. This ain't great. They've already got 16 victory points, and I guess they'll end the game if we get to there. How many victory points does Mike have? Nothing from spells and 5 from the familiar. Feeling great. Oh, I got even more white. Okay, so let me take 3 from the altar. I'm just thinking here. If I take a white right now, then next turn is my evening action. I could reduce this to get 3 from the altar. I could get up to 4 blue. If I can get another blue, I could do that amazing thing for the rest of the game. Although, see if the rest of the game is long enough for that. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to take a white. And for my midday action, black's fine, but not like game breaking. So we'll go ahead and put a black up. I don't want to miss my opportunity for victory points there. And then evening, I'm going to go ahead and learn the white spell. You discard all but one of them and 1 marked, which for most spells doesn't matter. But for some, the rune shape you put applies to the spell. The only example of that in this set of spells, I didn't mention, by the way, there's 3 sets of spells. So you can have just all the level 1s, just all the level 2s, or just all the level 3s. In this case, I'm playing with all the 2s, and then you can also mix and match them randomly to give the game more variety. But right now, the only spell that cares about which rune you put down is the focus one, this black one. The little arrow here means that it's pointing to the rune you actually learned the spell with. So if I had it at level 5, with, that's clearly not a black, but that, then as an evening action, I could store 3 square runes or take 2 square runes from the altar. And by the way, when you have a spell at a higher level, you can always choose to activate it at a lower level, like if I didn't have 3 of that type to take. But anyway, for the white, it doesn't matter. So boom, and these 3 go to the discard. And then with that being the case, I'll go and give the white to the enemy. Now that I can't do much with it, and oh my gosh, okay. All right, so it's back to me. I'm going to use my white spell to try to grab a bunch of blue, so I would hope... Nope, I didn't get any blue, darn it. Okay, and then for midday, I'll boost up my familiar. And then for evening, I am losing victory points by doing this, because right now it's worth 6, and it's going to go down to 4. But I can replace any number of materia in the altar, which I don't think I want to. And then I'm going to take 3. Boom, boom, boom. But then it goes down to the lowest level, so now it's just worth 4, and I can't do anything else with it. I will give the enemy a black, clearly. I'm hoping one more blue comes out here. No such luck. It's just black forever. So in the morning, I'm going to go for a draw. Yes, there we go. Okay, red. Sure, we'll get rid of red. That was my midday, and then evening. Here we go. So it's worth 0 victory points. Huh. Well, maybe this isn't a great call. But I'm doing the final maximum level of blue, which means I'll take double morning actions for the rest of the game, which seems pretty darn good. Okay, I'll give the opponent a purple. I got some red going on. All right, so now I get 2 morning actions, and I could just get black and black and make sure I've got it, but let's go and just get a ton of stuff. So first I'll draw 2. Okay. White and blue, not really what I wanted to draw. Although don't forget, 3 of a kind of any of the shapes can still be a wild for me. All right, let's go again. Okay, awesome. All right, well, at least the blue match up shape-wise. The yellow and the black I could potentially use, so let's go ahead and do my familiar with that one. And it's not like I'm ever going to need this much black, so I'll go ahead and put one of those on the opponent. All right, I maybe should just take those black, but I'm going to take my chances and draw again. All right, I got 2 yellow, and I do have 3 of the square shapes. What's yellow doing for me? Oh, it's just victory points for other spells. 1 per other spell, 2 per other spell at level 4 or higher, which I do have 1 of, and just 2 for every other spell. So for my second morning action, I grab this, and then I use those 3. I could get yellow to level 4. It seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and do it. And just to explain that a bit more, that's 1, 2, 3 yellow plus 3 of a kind of runes. That's where I get the 4 to learn that. And then I'll send a black over to them. And for the next round, I think I want to do 1 draw. Okay. Almost got some reds. I'm going to put purple. Oh, that's right. I have another one. Let's grab another red. Yeah. And then I'll put the purple down with my familiar. And I'm going to hold off on the evening action because I want to get my red at least 1 more level. I'll give them what's something I've already learned. Well, yeah, yellow. There we go. I only have like 6 more rounds here before they get to maximum points, and my points are not that great. So maybe I'll finish with the familiar, but just try to get a few more points here. All right, going into morning again. I want to get other stuff before red. Oh, interesting. Well, either way, I'm still going to do this for my second one. And then, yeah, I guess I'll put a black down. I don't want to run out of chances to earn victory points here. And then I will go ahead and put this here, which gets rid of all of those. And now I have an alternate morning action to draw until I have 5 in my pool. That seems pretty darn good. Let's give them a white since I already learned white. And that was also a 5 victory point spell because I got 3 for it and 2 for yellow. All right, going to another morning. Clearly for my first action, I'll use this and draw 4, bring me up to 5. Okay. I feel like I should grab a green. Yeah, let's grab a green for my second action. And then I already have white, so I'll put that on my familiar. And then I don't want to learn the green yet, because again, it's 2 more victory points if I wait a second. Let's give them a white. Let's get them down to 4 more turns. Ooh, okay. I should probably just go green, right? Because that's, what's this, an extra victory point? Sure. Okay, so I'll do boom, boom for my 2 morning actions. And for my midday, oh, so I could actually decide if I want to end it or not, because I could end it at the next turn, whereas the opponent has 4 more, or no, 4 more spaces to fill. Okay, so for my evening action, clearly I will get the highest level of green, which sets me up to use my red drawing action again. And now that gives me, as a midday action, instead of putting on my person, I can draw 1 or 2 or 3 and then discard that many. And I'll go and give them a white. So let's look at our options here for a second. So they, 1, 2, 3 more turns of placement will get them to the finish. Me, 1 more turn will finish it. They're getting 2 victory points a turn consistently. I feel like between all my options, I can try to learn like purple and black. And if I learn purple at level 4 or higher, that's going to be 6 victory points. If I learn black at level 4 or 5, it's going to be 6 or 7 victory points. I feel like that's my best chance to win. That'll certainly equalize the turn. So I'm going to use the green action instead of placing on my familiar for the coming turns is my plan. All right, so my first morning action now, I'm going to use red and draw up to 5. Nice, I got some blacks. So for my second morning action, I think I'll get another black, right? I don't have 3 of a kind now. Let's get another black, and then I'm about to use this. So I'm drawing 3 more from the bag and then discarding 3. Come on, give me some more blacks. No. Okay, black or purple. So I want to get rid of 3. And the only ones, oh, that's right, I can like get 3 of a kind. Okay, so if I keep 3 black and 3 triangles, that'll give me level 4 black. And I can't keep the purple if I do this, so that's okay. I'll discard these 3. Because my red will just be stronger if I get rid of everything. Okay, so that was my midday action using green. And then for my evening action, I'm going to learn with 3 for a wild and 3 blacks, a level 4 black spell. And I got to pick which rune I want. I don't know what's going to be most common. Let's just say per circle. And then I have to give them, again, shouldn't matter much. I'll give them a black. All right, now I just want to get that purple spell as we go into another morning. So I'm drawing to 5 for my first morning action. Okay, that was awesome. The last one I got was the second purple. Okay, so that was my first morning action. Second morning action, I don't want to give them the extra 2 if I can help it. Okay, and then, for my midday action, I think what makes the most sense is for me to finish off my familiar to end the game at the end of this round, because that gets me 2 points from 16 to 18. It's the lowest uncovered. And then I can still learn the purple. Yes, I wouldn't be getting the bonus from yellow, but that's only 2 extra points, and they're going to earn 2 more points if I wait. So yeah, let's definitely do that. Okay, so I will, for my midday action, do that. For my evening action, learn that. It's 4 victory points no matter what level you learn it at. And then I do have to give them one final something. All right, so here we go. They got 38. That is the score to beat. And I've got 18, 21, 25, 30. We'll get to you in a second. 34, 38, nothing. And then 2 for every spell at level 4, 1 for every other one. So 38, 40, 41, 43. Other spell doesn't count itself. 45, 46, 48. So beat them by 10. All right. And that's it. A pretty quick little game. Let's get to my thoughts on SpellBook and how I feel about it. So SpellBook for me has definitely been a family weight game. That's kind of where I'm focusing on it. That's where it's living for me. I played it with both my kids, 7 and 11 years old. I played it with my wife, and everyone's enjoyed it. It definitely for us has a bit of that Ticket to Ride vibe, not because you're putting trains on a board, but the whole thing about drawing from a bag or an altar and like knowing exactly what you'll get or having a chance to like get more, but it's more random, definitely feels a bit like that. And that's probably where the biggest negative for the game comes in. We've certainly had games, both me playing solo and competitive, where you'll draw like a bunch of the same color at once. And especially if that color leads to a spell that lets you get your engine going in a bigger way, like in this case, the red one or the green one, that lets you kind of get to spells more quickly, then you can accelerate to a win. So we've had a bit of a runaway leader problem sometimes in the game competitively. It's also a very straightforward game for better or worse. You're just usually drawing some stuff, deciding if you want to put some stuff there, and then every once in a while learning spells. So turns are fast, but they could also be seen as like a little bit dull, potentially. And then the solo mode is simple as can be, but it's also, as you can see, just kind of a race, beat your own score sort of thing. And the only difficulty modifier they suggest in the rulebook is to give them more and more tokens at the bottom. But I beat them by 10 here, and I think they say they recommend like from 1 to 3 tokens. So sometimes you're just going to skunk them if your engine and like your luck kind of come together for you to win quickly. So yeah, not like necessarily an awesome solo mode. But that being said, with kind of the negatives out of the way, it's a fun game. It's fun to draw these tokens. They feel really nice. They're kind of like the acrylic standee material. And the interplay between building up your familiar, but also maybe not wanting to get rid of your tokens, because that way you can get spells faster. That's pretty interesting. The spells themselves are fun. And again, there's 3 times as many spells as what you see here. And you can even play a mode where you mix and match them. So there's like different combos defined. And yes, the solo mode is basic and just kind of a race, but the competitive game pretty much is too. The only difference is your opponents might fast track or slow track the game, like they can potentially finish their familiar faster or slower. So the solo doesn't really like model that. But honestly, playing solo doesn't feel that different from playing competitive. You're still doing the same basic stuff to build yourself up. And that basic stuff is fun. Like, it's fun to learn the spells and use them to do other cool things. And that's what the game's all about. So in terms of recommendations, if you're playing with like a crowd where like Ticket to Ride would be a similar kind of weight for them, I think they might really enjoy this one. Again, my kids and my family have enjoyed it. Would I bring it to a heavy gamer night? Probably not. And is the solo going to have like super long lasting life for me personally? Again, probably not. But I think it's a nice bonus. It works well. It's not that different from the main game. So yeah, if you think you might have some more casual players that would enjoy the nice components, these things feel great, and want to learn some spells, SpellBook might be up their alley. And at the end of the playthroughs, I'd like to thank our highest tier patrons. Most patrons get exclusive videos every month, but these ones get their names read. So thank you to Dan Kierstead, J. Willie MF, Nick Skeen, and Joshua Thomas, our co-op champions. Good gaming, everyone, and I'll see you at the next stop.